We have one more raffle. It'll be coming up after our next segment. The next segment after Harsha is Frank from Core Logic, which will be action-packed, full of a lot of sound bites we can take back to our companies. But again, we have one more raffle of a brand new Apple iPad Pro or an iPhone 12, whichever of the two you prefer. But that'll be coming up after Frank's segment. So Harsha, thank you for jumping in. I'm sorry to condense your time, but take us through everything in 5 minutes or so.
All right, I got 5 minutes. Let me just get going. Okay. All right. So all of you have been following the market, right? And California, especially, trying to make an example out of here. If you go looking for houses in California, you got to stand in a half an hour line at least for a showing. And by the time you like your house, you go back and you try to make a decision. What we are seeing, and I've been in those lines recently, they're gone. The demand is such right now, right? And if you look at different data sets and different inferences from various companies, right? Housing Wire, multiple companies, right? You can see that right now, the inventory is at an all-time low. The rates a little bit up compared to the 2.5, you know all of this, but now they're still pretty low, right? Pending home sales, very, very strong. Median sales price across the US, 346K, right? And I was just looking at this in the morning. This just came in. If you look at this side, that is the credit scores. And the light blue means that most of the sales, like 80% of them, right, accounting to around $800 billion are of credit scores of around 760 plus. It's not like these are subprime loans. These are really, really good loans, right? And they're everywhere, right? So what's driving this? It's mainly the demand. You could say rates, you could say that the inventory is low, but overall, we are in such a spot because of the pandemic and various things. People want a backyard. People want to be away from it all. They don't need to be in the city. They can work from anywhere. The demand is huge. What does that mean for us, right? In the entire journey of a home buyer, the American dream is to own a home, right? There are so many areas: real estate, prop tech, which is the MLS integrations, the 3D tools that a couple of people spoke about today, right? And then AR, VR technologies, the drone valuations, AVMs, the valuation which comes in eventually at the time of title, right? Then the entire marketplace and the actual origination, servicing, and closing of a loan, and eventually home ownership and what comes from it. Various other companies that sell into home ownership. All of these have a play for high tech, like really, really improving technology and AI and ML, right? And a few people already talked about that. And now if you look at a quick use case, think that a family wants a yard, a new home, and wants to work remote. They start looking. Right now, this is actually happening. This is actually a true stat. And I think Brad pulled out Carlsbad when we were looking. This was around a week ago. 80% of searches were pending. And we were trying to look at a place which is not a city and which is like away from it all. And then 80% were already pending, right? And eventually you go and you decide that about the remaining 20%, you decide to go ahead and try to buy something. You like something. You then realize that the same house was sold for like 1/3 of its, 2/3 of its price, just like 8 or 9 months ago. This is real. This is a real property. You see that everywhere in the Bay Area also. Then you realize that I still have to make this buy because it's only probably going to go up from here. That's what's happening right now. So where would potentially, top of your mind in that use case, what would help all three parties there? Lender, buyer, seller. If you had a way to see what would be the valuation of a house when it sells and the propensity of a particular neighborhood to sell, to list first and to sell, and at what price, and you blend all that in and you score a neighborhood yourself using AI and ML. That is using data about the neighborhood, using data about potentially the segmented people who are living out there and past sales and things like that. You could propensity spread log, you could actually score the entire neighborhood, and you'd be in a position as any one of these three parties to know when to make the right offer or what price to put when you list, or even realtors also, they know what is which houses to be part of their lead so that they sell better when you're in and even iBuyers also. And looking forward, if you look at technologies, why would you think that AI/ML or machine learning and related technologies would fit in here? Like we talked about listing a home. When you list a home, you need to know at what price to list it, and you need to be in a position as a seller to be able to predict when and at what price the house would go, right? So propensity to list models, propensity to sell, and valuation models help that. Then finding and buying a home, again, if you have this questionnaire process of this inception and extraction process for buyers to kind of, I mean, if Brad's looking for a house, you could ask them a few questions. You ask him a few questions. I always felt that Brad is more like a Midwest cowboy kind of person, so he probably wants to go to Texas, right? So you ask the right questions, then he suddenly dawn on him that I want to be in Texas, right? And then you then finish the entire process, that here are these houses in Austin that I think you like, right? And here's the price, here's when it's probably going to close. The entire prescriptive analysis for a buyer could be done. And then one-click buying of a home. This is the holy grail. We all know this, and the integrations that come with it are huge, right? Valuations, and then the listing, the lending, the origination, right? And even refi in some cases. All of that, blending all the data pipelines to that is something that everybody's looking at. And then the last one, home services. This is pretty interesting. I'll just give you a quick example. If you've used a Roomba, the house cleaning robot, so there's this article which says that the Roombas actually send out your house's map to people who are furniture buyers, furniture sellers, so that before you actually go, and when you get a new home, and they've already done the math on what kind of furniture fits in there, and it prescribes what kind of furniture you should be buying when you go to a new home. Just think about the possibilities. They're endless, right? If they know about you, if they know about the house, and if they know about the market, and they know what kind of stuff that you'd want for your new house, the possibilities are just endless. I'll stop there, and I'll hand it back to Brad to add a few gems of his own. Right.
That was great, Harsha. It's funny. Second time that the room has come up today. First drum bass brought it up, and then you brought it up. I mean, who would have ever thought that
I didn't know about the first mention.
That's love or hate will be brought up twice. But thank you so much, my friend. Debbie, I will pass it back to you to introduce our next speaker, our keynote speaker for the day.